Recently, I've been asked if I am a Quranist, meaning a non-traditional Muslim that rejects all hadith before even hearing them, and the answer to that is no, I'm not. I actually do listen to hadith, but my approach is, instead of blindly believing everything that I hear, I run what I hear through the Quran, and if it is in line with what the Quran says, I accept it. But if it contradicts the Quran or talks about what appears to be nonsense or is promising things that the Quran did not promise, I try to understand it better. But if it continues to appear to contradict the Quran or talk about things that have no connection to the Quran whatsoever, then I reject it, even if it's mutawatir, meaning is repeated often throughout places, or if it's deemed sahih. And the reason why I do that is because of what I have learned from the Quran. Look, the Quran is a book that's easy to read. Anybody can actually sit down and study the Quran as it should be studied. But what I have observed is that very few people do that, and it's just one single book, right? Small, it's very short. So because very few people do that, then I start to think about the voluminous collections of hadith. How many people, if very few people read the Quran like that or study the Quran like that, how many people are actually going to do that with the hadith? Only the people who can dedicate their lives to that, right? And even then, it seems to take away from the Quran, to be honest. Whenever I talk to such people, one question that I like to ask people like that is, what does Quran say Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told people is his Sirat al-Mustaqim? That's an easy answer. If you've actually studied the Quran, that's an easy answer. In the 6th chapter of the Quran, verses 151 to 153, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is commanded to say that. As the verses start with the word kul and end with him saying, and this is my Sirat al-Mustaqim, so follow it, right? So if you study the Quran, easy. But a lot of times people are unable to tell me that. But they are experts in hadith. And another issue with these voluminous books is you have so many that you can never be sure. You know, you can have one scholar telling you one thing and another scholar telling you one thing, and they say, well, though these hadith appear to contradict each other, this one is superimposed on this one or supersedes this one. So it's very, very complicated. Religion is not that complicated, though. And that's the issue. So you have these volumes of book that nobody will ever read except these scholars, and then you have to have blind faith that whichever scholar you picked is telling you the correct thing. And I am not comfortable with blind faith because of what I read in the Quran. In the 14th chapter of the Quran, verse 21, we are told, on Judgment Day, and they shall all come before God, and the weak will say to those who were proud, surely we were your followers. Can you therefore avert from us any part of the punishment of God? They would say, if God had guided us, we too would have guided you. It is the same to us whether we are impatient or patient. There's nowhere to run to. Look, nobody can help you on Judgment Day. So yeah, maybe a scholar can guide you the right way. That's fine. You can do that. But I don't feel comfortable because I have actually heard hadith that don't make sense. I have seen sahih hadith that contradict the Quran, and I myself am not comfortable with the general approach to that quote-unquote science of isnad and all of that. It just is not as reliable as you would think. Just a question of why did they have to do that? Because people lied about what Prophet Muhammad said, peace be upon him, right? If you had to reject hadith, that means people lied. And now the question is, did Imam Bukhari and all the other ones that tried to, weed those out, which I appreciate their efforts, but were they perfect? And that is what I am uncomfortable with having blind faith in. These people rode on horseback, heard these stories. There was no Google. There was no cross-reference. There was no databases, nothing. And people say, well, yeah, they were superhuman and had the superhuman memory. I don't believe that. There is no superhumans. Yeah, people have great memories and stuff, but some of these legends basically say that he reviewed a hadith every 4 minutes, 24 hours a day without ever sleeping. Nonsense. It is absolute nonsense. So although I believe that these people made an effort, do I believe in them like I believe in the Quran? No, I don't. So I do what God told me in the Quran to do. Use the Quran as furqan, which means distinction between truth and lies. And that's it. That is my approach. I do not reject hadith wholesale, but I do not blindly believe it. I do not blindly believe the methodology. That's the issue. It's not that I reject what Prophet Muhammad said, peace be upon him. It is that I question the methodology of verifying that he actually said that. And that is my approach. Peace be with you.